As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, this morning our Black History moments are about inspiring our hopes and dreams. I know that all of you have been inspired to do something in your lives, and I have been inspired by people that have lived before me, or people that may be still living, such as examples like Ruby Bridges, the students from the Little Rock Nine, who gave up so much of themselves to get a good education in a time during segregation. That's part of our Black history heritage and stories that everybody could benefit from learning. But this morning we're going to hear stories from a couple of other people that are going to have inspiring messages for us. I want to introduce to you Réna Bradley. She's from Bridge of Grace Compassionate Ministries, and she spends her career, her time dedicated to working with children in our community. And also Curtis Crisler, who is a professor, poet, and author from IPFW. He has some published works and also theatrical production, I believe. And he will be sharing some of his work with you as well to inspire us this morning. Let's listen.
Worry? Why? All black boys my age, from my hood, never think future. Never see our child selves move into our grown selves. We couldn't see 16 years from graduation. D-town factories were manna for dreamers when born Saginaw. Hope? We still buy it. We still got tributary to our souls. Things dance still. We discover every day dying is and isn't. Some take a dirt nap and some walk on dirt. We do everything to own the anything. More. Bells ring, we all luncheon and struggle, put money down for maxim of new days. The first starts with faith. The last ends with brown faces grabbing starshine by horns, throwing a pool party in a galaxy where day and night kiss, where God and man play. We all boxed into one another, and we fit. For once, we can breathe, think statistics erase, think fatherless fathered, think imprisoned liberated, see stars aglow.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm Réna. I, as was mentioned, work at Bridge of Grace and live in Southeast Fort Wayne. In honor of Black History Month, I'd like to share a little of my own history with you, which, to warn you, consists mostly of me bragging about my parents and telling you a little bit about a program that I help run at Bridge of Grace. But first, I'd like to show you this picture. What do you see? The stark contrast between what she's wearing and where she is. I love this image because it's one of the most clear illustrations I can think of intentional and joyous leadership. She's setting an example by pointing to her toes and by making a point to enter this community. And the young girls in the picture, which is easy to miss at first, are emulating her. They're trying to point their toes just like she is. At this moment, she's being a light in this community. The young ladies on the next slide are the young girls of Wonderfully Made, the after-school program I run to engage, encourage, and inspire girls in the Mount Vernon Park community to dream big, aspire high, and know that they have full license to pursue those dreams and aspirations. We meet every week to cook together, learn about God together, and complete a craft that complements that Bible-based lesson. And every third week or so, we go on a field trip or host a guest speaker whose passions align with the interests of our girls. That first one was of Vanessa. She's a world traveler, and a lot of our girls want to travel the world. And this is our local judge, Wendy Davis. Many of our girls want to be lawyers. And so she talked to them about what it takes to be a lawyer or a judge or a politician. We always make silly faces. It's kind of our thing. The program came about in part because one day one of the girls tore across the playground, ran at me, and said, "Miss Réna, we knew that was you." And since she was so far away, I asked her why. And she said, "Because you dress like a really busy lady." All right, but I realized at that moment, I've been fortunate because I grew up around people who dress like very busy folks. In fact, the people in this next picture, aren't they gorgeous? This is where the bragging starts. I was blessed to have these two people as my parents. I'm going to tell you a little about them. First, my father on the right was one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated African-American pharmacist in the state of Michigan. He was licensed for 50 years, owned and operated a small chain of pharmacies in Metro Detroit, was the first African-American to, I believe, one, be elected president of the Michigan Pharmacists Association, the MPA, two, earn every award they offered, all of them, and three, receive a gubernatorial nomination to the State Board of Pharmacy. Yes. What might not be apparent in this picture is that he was born into abject poverty, quite literally on a sugarcane plantation in the Jim Crow South, to an illiterate, though tough and persevering mother who can only sign her name with an X. That gorgeous tough as nails thing on the right is my mom. She, despite being married to her first husband by the age of 14 and a mother of two by 16, managed while working full-time, taking the bus to and from her job, attending night classes, and raising two kids by pure grit and determination to earn her GED at the ripe old age of 17. That's 17, which I will point out is earlier than most of us who stayed the course get our diplomas from high school. She then went on to become the first member of her family to earn not only that accolade, but to attend and graduate from college in 1985. Check that out. All while being one of the most classy, elegant, and frankly stunning women who's ever walked the planet, so says me and my dad. Pretty good stock, right? Having this kind of history, it's easy to think that you can pursue and do whatever you want, no matter your circumstances. I remember making rare self-doubting statements and having my mother simply look at me and say, "Don't you know who you are? You're my kid." Or having neighbors come up and try to encourage me, saying, "Oh, Raina's gonna be a doctor, Raina's gonna be a lawyer, Raina's gonna be this, that, and the other." My mom said, "My kid's gonna be president. I don't know what you think." Whether words and actions my folks shaped who I am, they gave me permission to dream big, to shine in my childhood and hopefully throughout my adulthood. And in Wonderfully Made, yes, to shine, that's me shining. And Wonderfully Made, I try to do my best to model that same mindset to youth in our community, to be a light like any of us can in the community we live in, because, to paraphrase Marianne Williamson, we are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And when we set an example and let our lights shine as my folks did, we give others, be it consciously or unconsciously, permission to do the same. Thank you.
We know that the slave used music to mend a broken soul. We know many Jews use melody to escape into their minds by playing for their captors. We know chain gangs blend cadences, and the armed forces blend cadences, and the Protestants blended psalms, and the psalms flecked off into the streets, and then the streets reciprocated back into the church, and somehow the piano and the drums were moved to an organ, and the organ harmonized with the phonetics of the choir, and the choir blessed the masses, and the masses took each blessing and passed it on to a person passing them by. And those who went to church and those who slept outside of the church got to playing in a jam session. And this junkyard band with their spoons and grates and jugs and pots and pans, were heard by the Almighty on high. And this was the bestest church jam he had ever heard. So he brought Gabriel and the harmonics and virtues to see movement, and they wept for the first time. Souls stung. Give it up for Skip, y'all.